All right, so to find dy dx of this equation, we're going to need to use implicit differentiation. And that's because you can see that the y variable is not isolated on one side of the equation. You don't have an equation where it's just like y is equal to, something function of x. So all you really have to do is differentiate x like normal, but when you differentiate y, you're going to need to multiply y by dy dx. So let's just go through it. So let's start off by taking the derivative of x cubed. That'll be 3x squared, just like normal. 3x squared, make that a little darker. And here we have a product rule. We have 3x squared times y. So we're going to take the derivative of 3x squared first, which will be 6x. Keep the y as constant, so as a y. Then add this to 3x squared, keeping that as constant. And then we take the derivative of y, which is just 1. But here, we're going to also multiply by dy dx. That's really the main thing you have to remember when you're doing implicit differentiation. And then we continue as usual. Here we also have product rule. So we're going to take the derivative of 2x, which will just be 2 times, keep y squared as is. Then we're going to add it to, this time holding 2x as constant, and multiply by the derivative of y squared, which will be 2y. And again, we multiply by dy dx. And then we set that equal to the derivative of 12, which is a constant, or just equal to 0. And now all you really have to do is solve for dy dx, and think of it as just like it's a variable. Don't let the whole, the derivative notation throw you off. So let's begin by let's bring all the terms of dy dx to the front, and let's subtract some things and combine some things actually. This is actually, well, let's go through. So we have 3x squared minus a 6xy minus a 3x squared. So these actually cancel. Well, actually, sorry, no. We have 3x squared times the dy dx. Let me write it all out just so it doesn't become confusing. So plus, and I'm going to put the dy dx in front so it's a little easier to stand out. So times dy dx times the 3x squared plus, and let me bring this, since these are all pluses, let me bring this dy dx next. So this dy dx times a 2x times 2y. Or let's just make that a 4xy. That'd probably be a lot better. 4xy plus a 2y squared. All equal to 0. And now, so see here, we have the dy dx and the dy dx term here. So we can basically factor out dy dx from this group and this group. So let's first take care of that. So let's go dy dx in front. And that'll be multiplied by 3x squared plus 4xy. So that, we don't have to worry about. And the rest of this stuff, let's just send it to the other side. So we're going to make this equal to, taking this away from the left, a negative 3x squared. Adding this to the right, plus a 6xy. and then subtracting 2y squared. And here's our equation. And then all we do is now divide by this group. Divide each side by 3x squared plus 4xy. And this goes away. And your dx dy is just this. Your dx dy is just going to be equal to this whole thing. This will be your final answer, and you'll just have to get used to your answers not being all nice and clean. You're gonna have like some messy looking expressions. So just no big deal. It's just how it works out.